That's the legacy of nitrogen. The dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico isn't likely to shrink anytime soon, and could even persist for decades according to a new study. Dead zones are low oxygen areas in bodies of water that are harmful to marine life and can lead to massive algal blooms. The hypoxic zones are fed by nitrogen fertilizer, which flows through waterways across America's Corn Belt and into the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf Hypoxia Action Plan currently calls for a reduction in nitrogen runoffs in order to shrink the dead zone from 5,000 to 1,950 square kilometers by 2035. Legacy nitrogen that has been accumulating underground and in the groundwater also feeds into the Gulf. Even if strict measures were to fully stem annual runoffs, it could take more than 30 years for the legacy nitrogen to clear up and for the Gulf to recover. Improving water quality in the Gulf of Mexico requires certain changes in agricultural practices. More careful application of fertilizers, reduced tillage, and cultivating plants that can stop chemicals from leaching into water are just some methods that can curb nitrogen pollution. Killing the environment.
Oh, humans, what have we done? Despite having a population of no people, one of the most isolated and inaccessible islands on the planet is covered in our garbage. Henderson Island is a remote atoll located on the western edge of a circular system of ocean currents known as the South Pacific Gyre. Named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1998, the island is uninhabited. However, researchers say it has the highest density of plastic waste in the world. Some 38 million pieces of garbage have washed up on Henderson Island's once pristine sands. Analysis of the trash shows it was carried there from Asia, South America, Europe, the US, and Russia. Researchers estimate that 3,500 pieces of trash wash up on the island daily and typically include household items made of plastic. Nearly 30 years ago, UNESCO said Henderson Island's near pristine ecosystem was of immense value for science. But wildlife, including turtles and crabs, have been devastated by the garbage that has been dumped on the island's shores. Researchers say that trying to clean the island's beaches would be pointless because of the lack of visitors and sheer volume of trash that washes up there daily. They advise people to use alternatives to plastic, such as bamboo toothbrushes and canvas carrier bags, and to bring your own mug to Starbucks.
All that glitter is bad. There's a new war brewing, and it's against everyone's favorite sparkly decor, which experts are now calling a global hazard. Glitter is made from millimeter-sized bits of a polymer known as PET or mylar. Scientists consider it a microplastic and argue that it should be banned. Glitter filters into the oceans, where it gets mistaken for food by fish and other sea creatures and can leach out harmful chemicals into the marine environment. A 2014 study estimated that the world's seas contain roughly 5.25 trillion pieces of plastic trash, with microplastics accounting for 92.4%. The UK is set to officially ban items that contain tiny plastics called microbeads by 2018, with other countries also following suit. Some British nurseries have already taken up the call for no glitter and banned the use of the product in their facilities. Now, if only we can get the rest of the world to follow suit. Keystone Pipeline spills 210,000 gallons of oil. What a surprise! The Keystone Pipeline just spilled a whole bunch of oil, this time in South Dakota. The Keystone Pipeline runs from Hardisty, Alberta to Cushing, Oklahoma and Wood River, Pacoda, Illinois. On Thursday morning, it leaked 210,000 gallons, or 5,000 barrels, of oil in Marshall County, South Dakota, near Amherst. TransCanada, the company that owns the pipeline, said it detected a drop in pressure around 6 a.m. and shut down the pipeline. TransCanada said it received permission from the landowner to investigate the spill and plan cleanup. This would be the largest Keystone oil spill to date in South Dakota. Nice. With such good news like this, we should definitely okay the proposed Keystone XL pipeline immediately. UAE-sized hole opens up in Antarctica. Well, here's something you don't see every day. A nation-sized body of water known as a polynya has opened up in Antarctica. Scientists say this is the second year in a row the massive hole has appeared. At 30,000 square miles in size, it is half the size of Florida, around the same size as the UAE, and 3 times as big as Hawaii. Warming waters from changes in the environment are said to play a part in the formation of such holes, as well as weather factors. Thing is, we wouldn't even know it was there if we didn't have satellites. Thanks, science.
Turns out Alaska's permafrost isn't very permanent. Permafrost covers nearly a quarter of the northern hemisphere, and if that melts, life as a whole lot of folks know it will be put on ice. Alaskan permafrost, layers of soil that remain consistently frozen, is thawing, and scientists think this may lead to a further rise in global warming, regardless of attempts to curb it. According to the New York Times, researchers withdrew water and sediment samples from permafrost cores and installed temperature probes in the ground. Their aim is to better understand how permafrost interacts with the environment. In northern Alaska, permafrost 65 feet deep is said to have warmed from -8 to -3 degrees Celsius over the past decades. Globally, permafrost is believed to hold approximately double the amount of carbon currently in the atmosphere. When it defrosts, the carbon is sent back into the atmosphere. Scientists believe this could warm the planet over the coming centuries.